Hey everyone, it's Alex once again for the third time. It's been a bit, sorry for the wait, but here...
It's Crash Bandicoot 4!
Yes, or just Crash 3. But let's get down to the story. It starts with the Cortex Vortex crashing towards Earth, and it hits a temple releasing a blue aura with a voice. We go to Crash and the gang, and now for the first time Aku Aku has a voice and says Uka Uka is free, and they head inside. Now this is where we learn that the entire time Cortex has been taking orders from Uka Uka since the beginning of the series. Now, Uka Uka was the big baddie, really, so him being quite frankly pissed, he decides to enlist Entropy, someone well versed in time manipulation, which is where this place, the Time Twister, was made by him. We also learn that Uka Uka is Aku Aku's brother, just polar opposites in terms of personality. Aku Aku somehow transports Crash and Coco to the Time Twister, and we just gotta do the same stuff. Get the crystals and the gems, and originally new to this game, the Time Relics. So we have all the warp rooms laid out here, but just one at a time is available. And like Crash 2, it has 5 levels per tier, so right in level 1 we can see that this game is absolutely beautiful. The diversity this game has a major benefit for its art style, being used for different eras. A cool thing added was the villains talking to you before you go into a level to fight them, though I still find it weird it's just their heads. Returning to level 1, it's a medieval trope. These, I think, are more so of the basic levels with no crazy gimmicks. Returning from Crash 2, we also have the bonus stages, which I think are much better than Crash 2's. Even the late game ones, where in 2 it was just frustrating, this became a lot better in terms of just being fun still. The other bonus stages are not back, but things like the Death Route and the Gem Path return as well. I again will talk about one level of trope, but not every single stage in these tropes, to keep this from going on too long, with a few exceptions. Moving on to level 2, we have swimming levels, which I hate in this game, both versions. But one cool thing is getting the vehicle to shoot and speed through the level for a certain section or so. On to level 3, which is a riding trope returning once again from the previous games. This may be one of my favorite riding type stages, because the animation for Purah doesn't look weird like Polar's animation does while running. The level style in general is really fun, and it feels like it's easier to a small degree than Crash 2, but that could just be me. The main difference is you can constantly speed dash if you want to zoom through the level, but that's more useful for relics. This is also the start of Coco exclusive levels, which there are a few. Now level 4 is a mix of a regular stage mixed with the chase sequences. This time it's a Triceratops, and if you just do the slide spin, you'll outrun him easily. The area itself is pretty cool, with it being like a watery, tar mixed area with that prehistoric look to it. This level trope holds a secret exit, which I'll explain more later. The 5th level is a jet ski level. I absolutely hate these stages in the remaster due to the garbage controls. They are super heavy and feel, well, more realistic, but that's not always a good thing. I feel like I need to slowly go through the level in a lot of areas just due to the weird turning and weight of the jet ski in general. It's not horrible, but here in one particular level, it's absolutely abysmal. More on that later. The first boss you fight is Tiny, and he is easy, but my dumbass kept getting killed. At first I wanted to show off the cheese Easter egg, but that didn't work, so I just kept having poor timing, and on my end, this made it harder than it should be. All you need to do is dodge him and smack him when he's staggered, then the lions come out and you're supposed to spin them away, but I was just awful at timing this. But trust me, it's not that hard. Now onto Tier 2, which here you fight Dingodile, and it's at this point we have a reused level trope for level 6, which in this, the only major difference are the wizards. Which in the PAL version, and the Japanese version, it took 2 hits to kill him, but interestingly, they based this on the North American version, which again is kind of interesting. Next we have Hanging 'em High, which is a really cool level in terms of aesthetics, and man, it can be a pain somewhat if you are bad at precise timing. For a bit, this stage I kept dying and dying to the scorpions, which they are on the grates above you, and timing them to spin them away is a lot harder than it may seem, but with patience, you will get by them. We see something cool in the upcoming level, which is riding on a motorcycle, which is a pretty cool thing, I'd say. And there was a Terminator reference in one of the ads too. Funny, weird, but appreciated. So with these levels, you pretty much need to finish first to get the crystal and all the boxes for the gem. as per usual with the gems. Now, my recommendation is just to focus on the crystal and come back for the boxes, and you let the racers get ahead of you for a bit so you don't get smacked right out of the way of a box, which has happened to me many a times. Very neat stages. I think they are far better than the original versions. Maybe that's just because of years of not playing it, but I swear it feels better here. Our next level is a tomb. These are possibly my favorite stages from the looks alone. It's pretty straightforward. You got a snake, you got some alligators, and a monkey that throws its shit at you. That's absolutely disgusting. We also have slippery floors. I think it's oil, but this is our ice physics section. But they're few and far between, except for a death route, but it's manageable. Just screw those guys dropping blocks from above towards you, because they make my life harder than anything for no reason. Our next level is Midnight Run. It's just another Purr stage out at night, but I don't need to go any more into detail on that because it's literally the same stage, just different obstacles. So let's move on. Dingodile is next, and I'm gonna be honest. If you want a proper fight, don't do what I'm doing, which is the slide spin jump, which gives you extra air to get over his ice pillars, and it makes this boss an absolute joke. So, well, maybe Tiny is a tad harder, huh? Dingodile will fire his heat gun, I guess, at you, and it will break the ice. That's your chance to hit him and get out of there before he blows up. Now, I don't think I mentioned this, but you get power-ups for winning against each of the bosses. This one is the double jump, which I love to death in this game. It makes platforming so much easier. Alright, we're about halfway done. So to start Tier 3, let me mention this level, Dynamite. It has a yellow gem entrance, and that's not all. In that route, you need to go and get caught by a pterodactyl, and you'll be brought to a secret level, Egapis Rex, which I'll go over later. As for the level though, it's nothing crazy other than you get to ride a T-Rex. He actually controls better in this. He's heavier, and his walk cycle is a much better pace too. But that's not the last time you'll see him. Moving on to the next level, we have yet another water stage. I only wanted to mention this one due to it being the first stage where you get a colored gem. This is one you'll see a box outline. That's the path you need to get to the gem, but you need to get to the end of the level and hit an exclamation box. Go back to that area and continue from there. And it is the only way to get the regular gem too, because it has boxes on its route. Alright, next is another take on Hang 'em High. So I'm going to go on to this one because we got to keep something secret. Other than this level, it's a pain to get to with the death route, but you'll get a purple gem for your trouble. So we have another motorcycle stage, but at night. It's a little harder, but nothing crazy. I mentioned this level because there is a secret where you can get to a different level only accessible through this method. Just hit the alien sign and you'll be warped to what I think is the worst stage in the game. Hot Cocoa. This stage is open-ended, and of course, you have a crappy jet ski. So you need to get all the boxes, hit the nitro box, and then the exit is open. Now, this level is not horrible on its own, but the time relic for this one is annoying as hell. You need to follow a specific path, then you might make it to the gold relic under 30 seconds. Which, by the way, are needed for full completion, which I didn't do in this because I didn't play Crash 3 enough to do it to where it's fun. So, alright, side tangent out of the way. Let's see, what's next? A repeat level. Next. Okay, now, we get to fight Entropy, which is a weird place for him to be. I thought he'd fit for the fourth boss, but oh well. He's pretty easy too. Just dodge the missiles coming at you, and the lasers that come towards you and from the sides. Jump over to him when he is tired, and yeah, just hit him and repeat that, and you're set. After beating him, you get a warning from Cortex that without Entropy, the Time Twister may lose its stability. Kind of a weird plot element, which is subtly mentioned because nothing immediately happens. Not until the end, anyway. Moving right on to Tier 4, our first original level is Bye Bye Blimps, which these kind of levels are very easy. It's an open level where you fly a plane to destroy X amount of things. In this, it's blimps. And the other, you go after bigger planes. So, You get the boxes first and get the blimps, or you can do both along the way, up to you. Next is Future Frenzy. Yeah, boy. It's our new trope of the game, a futuristic city, where there's a few of these levels, one being a DLC level, which I didn't end up beating because, quite frankly, I was burned out by Crash Bandicoot by then. Though anyway, these levels look cool and have some cool gimmicks, with the enemies being similar to the ones in Crash 2 Cortex stages, as well as I'll call them. Though you're not going to get the box gem or any gem really in this run because you need to enter it from a different room. More on that later. Engine returns as the second to last boss, and in this boss battle, he has a giant mech, which is much better than Crash 2. In this, you're also flying a spaceship just shooting at him. It's not terribly hard. I'd say the original was a bit harder, but this boss has a second phase where you get Purah to attach himself to you and make a giant dong to destroy Engine's remainder of his mech. Take him down, and then we move on to the 5th tier. Now, before the final tier, I forgot to mention you get the Spin Tornado and a rocket launcher from the previous bosses. They're really cool power-ups in my opinion. So in terms of story, this is the last proper tier. So to start, we have yet another future level, which is more of the same as the previous one. You just get to use your bazooka a decent amount, which is cool. They gave it some use. It's also much better to aim with it in this. I don't know how to describe it because it's been so long, but the bazooka, I remember being far too sensitive to aim. Our last original trope are the dark levels. This one, you're following a firefly to see, just like in Crash 2. But here you go into a tomb, so it's like 2 types of levels in one, which was really cool to play through. Now, I did miss levels, but I don't want to repeat myself, so that is all the original tropes in the game. Our final boss is Cortex, and kinda Uka Uka. You mostly want to dodge Aku and Uka when they're fighting, while you focus on Cortex. He will shoot at you for a bit, then throw bombs down. His shield will go down, and that's when you spin him into the hole in the middle, and just do that 2 more times and you're set. But each hit makes the masks attack differently, but in this remaster they're way easier to dodge. They're much slower, thankfully. So you beat Cortex, and he has this to say to us.
Defeated again. This is not fair. Maybe I should retire to a nice big beach with a nice big drink and a woman with nice big bags of ice for my head.
It's not over, Bandicoot. There are still the gems. We still have a chance to triumph.
Alright, so we need to get the rest of the gems. Now, in order to do that, you need to get to the 6th tier, or bonus tier, whichever you want to call it. Though for that, you need to get relics. You need to get through these levels as fast as possible. And with the Crash Dash you got from Cortex, you should be able to get the golds. Maybe if you're good or lucky, you'll get a platinum relic, which are just for bragging rights. After you retrieve some, the 6th tier will show up and you'll only have one choice. But you need more relics to get more levels. So I got them all. And well, here are the levels. Our first level is a jet ski level, which is nothing special all things considered. Just a bit more open, but nothing like Hot Cocoa. So yeah, that's definitely a jet ski level. Next is Hang 'em High. Yeah, this level is just a short, different entrance to let you get the yellow gem, which isn't hard to get compared to some others. Very short stuff here, so I don't consider this a level. Moving on, Area 51 is next. It's a motorcycle stage, but it's pretty cool in the dark, and going by the aliens to win, it helps you can see them go in the air to dodge oncoming cops, so you will know far ahead of time where to be. Overall, it's a fun stage. I know some people who hate this stage, but I think they're referring to the original since the draw distance was not good. Next is the final original stage in the game, minus DLC, Rings of Power. Now, I don't like this stage really at all. You feel too heavy when turning, and to be honest, I swear the AI is on the hardest difficulty because I barely won the race. The boxes I'd worried about until after you win the race. You don't get crystals here, by the way, just gems. The time trial for this one is a bitch too. I just don't really like this level whatsoever. The final level in this tier is a different entrance to Future Frenzy. Here you get all the boxes that you wouldn't have found in the first run, and the secret gem as well, before you get back on the stage as normal. But now you need to go back to the start, make sure you get all the boxes. It's a pain, but not horrible. Well, I almost forgot Agapus Rex, which is a secret level from Dynamite that I mentioned earlier. And here you are on the T-Rex, and just doing some 2D platforming to get to the secret gem. The relic in this one wasn't too taxing either, but still, this is stupid to find. Now, I would talk about the DLC level a lot, but I didn't get far before I called it quits on playing. I finally got burned out from Crash. I'll show you gameplay of what I did do, but yeah, it's the hardest level in the game in terms of an original level, never in the original. So, good luck with that one. After getting all the gems, you go to fight Cortex one last time. He doesn't change his moves up at all, so it's another easy win. And we're treated to Uka and Cortex being sucked up into the past via a portal as the Time Twister breaks apart. Crash and the gang go home and chill out while a baby Cortex and Entropy are fighting over Uka. It's weird, but kind of funny. Well guys, that was the entire Crash trilogy. Ending off on a high note, I hope, in terms of the franchise, because there really isn't anything better after this. Many people will say this is the best one though, and I can't really argue much with that one, because it is one of the most refined Crash games to date. So anyway guys, I'm not sure what's coming next, but I hope you stick around to find out. So, my name is Alex, and I'll see you next time. Farewell.